Alright, what's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ilias, I'm a photographer located in Athens, Greece, and in this video I'm going to share with you my best tips in order to start making money as a beginner photographer. I will not sugarcoat anything in this video, so you're going to hear things that will probably annoy you, but it's going to be the harsh truth, and for a beginner it's better to learn the harsh truth from early, so he can decide if he wants to pursue this kind of career or just have photography as an escape, as a hobby and stuff like that. I think I'm a little bit classified in order to give advice on that topic, since I struggled myself a lot to get my first few clients and to build a small client base. But for the past 2 months since I got released from the army, I have worked with 6 or 7 different photography clients. I did also a few video projects. I booked a wedding which was really last moment, and I will also leave the next month for about 20 to 30 days in order to photograph tourists on a cruise ship. This last one is not guaranteed yet, but I have a really good chance in order to getting that job. So yeah, fingers crossed. So let's start off the video, and maybe you can apply some of the things that I will talk about in order to land your first jobs. So grab a pencil, grab a notebook, and yeah, keep your notes up. So first of all, just because you got a camera and a new lens, that doesn't mean that you can immediately start charging for your photography. I don't know why many beginners have that mindset. I myself had that mindset as well, and I don't know why it is that way. I got my first camera, I thought that everyone would hire me in order to take their portraits and stuff like that, but that's not how it works. And that's probably for the better, because if we land somehow a job at the beginning when we got our first camera and we have no idea how to use it, chances are that we're going to do a really bad job, and yeah, we will get exposed and never land a second job again. What you have to do is to go out there, practice in manual mode, learn what your camera does, learn about composition, learn about ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and all that other technical stuff. And after that, like I said, you have to learn how to compose your images, how to use different focal lengths and stuff like that. And after that, you will get back home, you will edit your photos on Lightroom or on any other app. I personally prefer Lightroom, but that's up to you. And let me tell you that for the first 1 or maybe 2 years or even more, your editing will suck. So you will have to shoot, you will have to edit, and after all that, you will have to continue studying the craft. You will have to open YouTube, see what other professionals are doing, open up Instagram and see what other professionals are shooting, open Pinterest in order to get ideas for posing and stuff like that. So you will have to continue to study the craft, and this is the only way in order to become better. So shooting, editing and studying for many days to come. So if you don't know if your work is good enough, I'm thinking on creating a video where I'm going to critique some of your guys' images. So if you want to get a really honest and harsh opinion about your work, then go down in the description, find my email and send me 2 or 3 of your best images. Let me know what you're shooting with and let me know how much you have been shooting for, and I will tell you my honest opinion on how to improve, what it is you're doing bad, what it is that you're doing really good. So if you want to get a really harsh critique on your work, just send me an email with 2 or 3 high resolution images, and I will make a video next week or the week after critiquing your stuff. Again, disclaimer, this is not for snowflakes, because I'm planning on being really harsh. So yeah, if your feelings get hurt easily, don't send me your work. The sad part is that you will need a few pieces in order to jumpstart your photography jobs, and this is really necessary in order to start landing jobs like weddings, christenings, or even simple event photography and like portrait jobs and stuff like that. But in case you cannot afford anything else except from your camera and your kit lens, then wait till the end of the video, because I'm going to share with you a few really nice photography jobs which you can do with your kit lens without upgrading at all, without getting any new lenses, without getting any new camera accessories. So yeah, if that sounds something like you, then stick till the end, because I'm going to share a bit of magic knowledge. So you might be asking yourselves, what things should you buy? And this is a really nice question, because most of us as beginners, we tend to spend our money on useless lenses, useless accessories, useless filters, which will not make us better, which will not provide us with better images or even make our life easier on a professional environment. So I think, in my opinion, every professional needs 2 or 3 lenses and nothing more. So I will list to you 2 combinations of lenses which I think are more than enough in order to do whatever you are hired to do. And the first combination is probably going to be something like a wide prime, maybe a 20mm, 23, 27mm, or even a 35mm. It depends if you're using a crop sensor camera or a full frame camera. I really like the 35mm focal length, so for my ZFC I have a 23mm 1.4 as my wide prime, and after that you will need to have a semi-telephoto lens, something like a 50mm or an 85mm. This is the lens that we're going to use for more bokeh-licious shots, more professional looking shots. Clients love these kind of shots, and it's a really nice focal length in order to even get a little bit reach to your camera. You can even swap the 85mm with a 70-200, but I'm only talking about an 85mm because a 70-200 lens is really expensive, and we're talking here about getting our first jobs, so I do not think that a 70-200 is really that important for someone that is starting out. And the other lens combination which I really love is something like a fast zoom, maybe a 17-50 2.8 or a 24-70 if you're on a full frame, and after that again you can pair it up with a nice semi-telephoto portrait lens, something like the 85mm which we talked about earlier. I really love this combination because a fast zoom lens is really versatile. You can do almost every single job that you're getting hired with a 17-50 or a 24-70 f2.8. If your system has one of these, then I will highly suggest to get one of these. Sadly, I'm shooting right now on the Nikon crop system, and for the Z mount they do not have yet a fast zoom lens. I'm hoping for Sigma to release that 18-50mm f2.8 which they have released for Fujifilm and Sony. It's a really beautiful lens, and yeah, if they do that, it's going to get on my lens list for sure. The other thing that you should probably look to get if you're just starting out and you want to land better jobs is probably a speed light, a flash, call it whatever you want, because the built-in flash on your camera will not make it. And obviously you should also try to get a little bit few spare batteries, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, it depends on the battery level that your camera has. So after you get these 2 lens combinations, a few extra batteries and a flash just to be safe, I think you are set in order to do probably anything that you are getting hired to do. Again, I'm speaking from personal experience. I only use a 23mm 1.4 and an 85mm 1.8. I have shot weddings, christenings, I have done portraits, I have done portraits for students. I don't know how many different photography jobs I have done, but most of these clients always come back to me because they want a second or a third job with me, and they really appreciate the work that I put into my craft, and I never feel that I get limited with these 2 lenses. So that's why I think that you can get by with only 2, maybe 3 lenses as a pro photographer. Alright, so you bought all the necessary gear, you learned how to use your camera, you are a god with your camera, it's basically an extension from your hand, but you don't get any clients, or you get really few clients which are not coming back. So you might be asking yourself, how can you fix this? And to be honest, I think you yourself know the answer. I knew the answer, but I didn't want to believe in that answer. I didn't want to make myself feel uncomfortable. And basically the true fact is that you need to market yourself better. And in order to market yourself better, you sadly have to let your introverted self back home. I know this is really hard for introverts, but this industry is not made for introverts. You have to go out there, you have to seek your jobs. Jobs are not going to come to you just because you're good, especially in the beginning. Sadly, you have to cover that part of yourself and try to make connections. Anyways, let's continue on with the tips. And the first tip which I can give you guys is to do free job for clients close to your area. So I will give an example with a coffee shop. Let's say you have your favorite coffee shop where you go there regularly and stuff like that. You can go and offer them your photography services for free. That way you can start building a nice portfolio with the pictures that you are getting for these people. You also have no pressure since you are not getting paid, so you don't have to worry with deadlines and stuff like that. Just go there, take a few pretty pictures and send them later to the owner, and chances are, if you're doing a really nice job, they will hire you again next time they will need a photographer, or even recommend you to a friend of them. And after doing a few free jobs, you will hopefully have a nice body of work which you can later on show to other clients. Let's say you really want to work with coffee shops and you did this first few jobs for free and you have a nice portfolio. You can later on go to other coffee shops, maybe DM them, maybe email them, or even go face to face and show them your work through a photo book or through your phone. I prefer to use a photo book in order to present your work when you're face to face with a client. If they see that you have a really nice body of work and right now they're posting on their Instagram with pictures from a phone, chances are that they're going to hire you, and that's pretty much a domino effect. If you get the first few clients for free and you do a really nice job, then after a few no's, someone is going to say yes because they will like your work. But obviously that's also up to you because you also need to do a good job for your first jobs. So tip number 2, always let them know that you are a photographer. It doesn't matter if you are not a photographer right now. It doesn't matter if you work on a supermarket right now. If someone asks you what you're doing, just say that you're a photographer. Let's say you're in a gym and you make new gym buddies, let them know that you're doing photography, and chances are that they will hire you for something, maybe for portraits or stuff like that, or even recommend you to other people which are in need of photography services. I will give you an example of a work that I got hired to do, and actually I will do this job later on during the night. And basically a month ago or so, when I went hiking on a mountain with my friend 𝐂𝐀𝐌𝐄𝐑𝐀, I have also posted a video which when I was doing film photography on that hiking trip. We basically met these two bikers and they were trying to take a few photos with their phones, and obviously they had no light, so they were struggling, they were really struggling. And I had my camera with me, I had my Nikon ZFC because I was filming my YouTube video, and I offered them to take a few photos here and there, like a few snapshots. We later on traded Instagram accounts, and yeah, they really liked the photos. And it's really funny because one of the two bikers owned a coffee shop close to me, a coffee shop / bar, and today he's celebrating the 3 years of the opening of his store, and he's throwing a party and he hired me to be the photographer for this party. So my point is that you have no idea what the person next to you is owning, or who he is, or if they need photography services or not, or if they know someone that needs photography services or not. Photography jobs are left and right, so always showcase yourself as a photographer. You cannot believe how many photography jobs I have landed just because I was taking pictures of strangers when I saw that they were struggling with their phones. And again, this comes down to the part where I said that you have to leave your introverted self back home and you have to present yourself as a photographer. You have to be really talkative, and yeah, that's the only way in order to make connections and let them know that you are a photographer. So fix your social skills, believe in yourself, believe in the craft that you're doing and in the art that you are doing, and go out there and show the world what you can do and what you can offer. I believe in you, but that's not enough. You have to believe in you and your photographs. So the next tip is pretty straightforward, and all you have to do is to talk with your local photographers and ask them if they want any help, if they want a second photographer for maybe their weddings or their christenings or whatever type of photography jobs they're doing. I will not go any further into this tip because, yeah, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. Just find the photographers next to you, email them, DM them, or even go by their shop and simply offer them your help. You never know who might need a second photographer because maybe they have a second photographer and he cancelled out that weekend, and you will step up in order to fill that spot. So the next tip is to basically make photography friends. This is also pretty self-explanatory, but you have many things in order to benefit from this. First of all, you fix your social skills. Second of all, you get to grow with these other photographers together. They might help you with your projects and your jobs, and you can help them also with their projects and their jobs. And one of the really funny things is that when you have that circle of photography friends and maybe you cannot do a job that weekend because you're out of the town that was offered to you, then you can simply offer that job to one of your friends, and this is vice versa, because I have gotten a lot of jobs from my friends which they couldn't do at that point in time, and I have also gave many photography jobs to some of my friends because I was out of the town at that time and stuff like that. And one of the best parts of having photography friends is that you get to have feedback, honest feedback on your work. From the beginning of my photography journey, I had as a photography buddy my cousin Iliana, which is also doing photography for the same time as me, and she's always really honest with the type of work that I'm producing, and I try to be honest as well because that's the only way in order to get better. Like I said at the beginning of the video, whenever I post something which is not good or whenever I do something which I could do better, she always let me know, and I really appreciate that because that's the only way in order to fix my mistakes and become better. Okay, so let's start and talk about the part on how to make money with just your kit lens without the need to upgrade to any new lenses, any new accessories and stuff like that. So in order to find these jobs, we have to ask ourselves, what is the best type of photography that my kit lens can do? And the first thing that comes into my mind is landscape photography. But you might be asking yourself, how can I make money from landscape photography, especially if I'm a beginner and there are so many pro photographers out there which do an amazing job by showcasing the beauty of this world? It's pretty easy, to be honest. All you have to do is find your local hiking groups. Yes, you heard me exactly, hiking groups, and offer them your photography services. And all you have to do is to go out there with them and document the whole trip, showcase the beautiful landscape, showcase the large hiking group which is on the beautiful landscape. I will show you a few examples which I have gotten myself on these kind of jobs. 99% of my photographs are taken with a kit lens because you don't need a fast lens, you don't need a prime lens, and the kit lens has a really versatile zoom length which gets me from really wide to semi-telephoto-ish. So yeah, there is not a single photo that I cannot take. So all you have to do is to go out there once and take a few images from a few mountains, a few trees and stuff like that, some nice travel-ish photos, and send these photos later to your local hiking groups, and chances are that they will really need your photography services because some of them are really taking photos only with their cell phones, and to be honest, hiking groups need better quality photos because they have to market themselves better on new people every single day on Instagram and on Facebook. So good photos equals more money for them, and this is where you step in. So the other type of photography which you can easily do is basically interior work for rooms, houses, maybe Airbnb rooms and stuff like that. Although you have to keep in mind that sometimes our kit lens is not that wide enough, but with a simple technique of taking 2 or more pictures in a row and simply stitch them together, you can get a pretty nice field of view and create a really nice wide image for your client. Again, this is something that I have done for myself, and it's something that I want to continue doing for myself because the pay is really nice. But you have to keep in mind that in certain point of your interior career, you have to purchase a drone because drone shots from buildings are really important, and a lot of clients do want them, and if you cannot provide these type of photographs for them, then you are not going to be hired all that time. So yeah, just keep that in mind, but you can definitely just start doing interior work with just your kit lens. And lastly, if you cannot afford any new gear, you can simply sign up for all these type of agencies which provide you with beginner photography work. Most of the time they do not even care what your gear is because they will provide the gear for you, and these type of agencies usually provide you photography jobs which are not portfolio worthy, let's say, but at the end of the day it's better to work at a photography agency for, let's say, parties and stuff like that, rather than doing a regular supermarket job. And I'm not shitting on supermarket workers because I have been a supermarket worker myself for the past 2 years, so I know what every person is going through. So for example, here in Greece, these agencies send people to photograph clubs or birthday parties for little kids. Obviously you can imagine that you do not create a nice portfolio out there, but the pay is really good, and like I said, it's better to work there rather than being on a supermarket like a slave. So these are all the tips that I can share with you guys. Let me know down below if you have any questions at all, and I will get back to you and try to answer every question that you have. Also, don't forget to send me your photos in order to get a harsh critique on the email, which is linked down below on the description. Anyways, that's all that I have for you today. I really appreciate every single one of you that choose to spend some of your time by watching my videos. This really means the world to me, and as always, see you next time. Take care. Peace.